was it that started the controversy or the fighting in Homs?
دخلت المجموعات المسلحة ببعض الأحياء في مدينة حمص مثل البعض.
The government was not prepared for this kind of street warfare that happened, and the government was not prepared for that kind of urban warfare that took place.
Petition of the girl, and I committed to that, but he always says, President of you are murderers, you are killers, you killed the girl. I can give you a copy of that. 3 days after, the girl is on Syrian TV. She said, I am alive, I am very well, and I am Zainab al-Husni.
كنت حمص تقريبا بالبداية حوالي شي 3000 موزعين.
Towards the beginning of the crisis, the number of rebels gunmen in Homs was estimated at 3,000. And outside the city of Homs, in the countryside of the province, we had even much larger numbers of gunmen. Most of them were Lebanese. They were Takfiri, radical Islamist rebels. Most of them came from Lebanon. The point I'm trying to make to you in reciting the numbers of insurgents is to make the point that this was a systematic movement towards bearing arms, and it wasn't a spontaneous thing. And I would like to make the point that many people who had actually participated in the early protests, fully thinking that these are legitimate protests with legitimate demands, many of them, after they saw the people carrying weapons appearing and becoming the dominant force, many of the people who took part in the early protests stepped back and stopped taking part in the protests. So it was, the protests were like a Trojan horse for the militants to infiltrate into the country and into the city of Homs. And they played on the fact that Homs is a very diverse city. It has Sunni Muslims, Alawite Muslims, and Christians. So they initiated campaigns of killings and counter-killings that created a rift within the society.
ولعبوا على مفهوم الفتنة وخلقوا بعض المشاعر.
And they started to mobilize people along religious lines on both sides. And many people, and some people followed in this mobilization, or like it's a demagogue tactic because of the spur of the moment. TV channels like Al Arabiya, Al Jazeera, and Orient, they played a very negative role because they helped create sectarian instigation and adding more to the fire of
Fueling the fire.
And hence our strategy to end the crisis in Homs started with combating terrorism, and we started by attacking Homs and Al-Aqsa because they are along the Lebanese borders, and all the financing would come from the Lebanese borders. And we had to work on 2 parallel tracks or 2 parallel courses. The first was to work with the people, to allow the people who went to the other side to come back and to allow the people to return to their normal lives. And the other track was to strike with an iron fist on terrorism.
بحمص القديمة مثل ما رح تشوفوا بعد شوي.
As you will see in the old parts of the city of Homs, it is a densely populated area. It used to be a densely populated area. It was built from a long time. It is a very old buildings. As a result, urban warfare in that area was very destructive for everything, as you will see. We adopted the notion that we should evacuate all the civilians who remain inside the old city of Homs. Evacuating all the civilians who remained in the old city of Homs, including families of rebels, evacuating them out into safety, and allowing the opportunity for rebels who would like to turn themselves in and without any legal prosecution against them to do that. And we started in February 2014. So with the help of the United Nations and the resident representative of the United Nations in Syria, we were able to evacuate 1,800 residents of the old city of Homs. That included 350 children, in addition to 144 gunmen.
وبعد ذلك لم يبقى داخل الأحياء في المدينة القديمة إلا المسلحين.
After that, it was all gunmen inside the old city of Homs.
الأندلس.
And then, over the course of the next 11 weeks, more gunmen started to leave the old city of Homs, and we were able to evacuate 1,150 gunmen who would come out of the old city of Homs and come to a school building that was made into a center for them, a rehabilitation center, Markaz Ta'hil, called Al-Andalus School, and we would receive them and take care of all their paperwork. So it was the counter-defection in the lines of because towards the beginning of the events they always said soldiers are defecting from the Syrian army to become rebels. Now it was the counter-defection where people would leave the rebels and rejoin the Syrian government.
تواصل معي بحين بعض قادة المسلحين ورجال الدين فيهم.
And at that time I made contact with several rebel leaders and some of their religious leaders.
واستقبلتهم هون.
And I asked them to my house, and we reached an agreement with them to end the war in the old city of Homs, that those who wish to surrender and surrender their weapons and turn themselves in, all their legal status would be sorted out, they won't be prosecuted. And those who wish to leave and continue fighting, then we will give them a safe passage, provided that they would only leave with their personal arms or sidearms, like AK-47.
في 9/5/2014
And in May 2014, on the 9th of May 2014,
بدأنا بتنفيذ هذا
we
الاتفاق.
started executing this agreement,
وخرج تقريبا حوالي 1850 مسلح
and 1,850 gunmen
مع سلاح فردي
with their personal arms
ودخلت الدولة إلى كل الأحياء.
were given the safe exit, and the government regained control of all the old city of Homs.
ووضعت اليد على السلاح الثقيل والمتوسط.
And it seized all the medium and heavyweight weapons that the rebels had inside. And we allowed them a safe exit to the northern countryside of Homs. And since that day, all 36 districts of the city of Homs are completely under the control of the Syrian government, with the exclusion of one district, which is the one we can see here, which is Al-Wa'ar. 14 out of the 36 districts are destroyed with a percentage that exceeds 70%. We find that whenever we are talking to other Syrians, a solution can be reached. I think no one has ever thought or expected that Homs would be able to reach a reconciliation. And now, as life returns gradually to the city of Homs, many people are more convinced now that a reconciliation could work. At 10 p.m. in the evening, which is considered late, there were over 2,000 families, children, women, all there visiting and shopping.
الوضع في مدينة حمص جيد جدا، لكن يشوب بعض الاستهدافات إما بقذائف صاروخية أو بمفخخات أحيانا.
The situation in Homs city, more or less, it is very good and it's very solid. But on rare occasions we get attacks using mortars or car bombs.
عندنا تواجد المسلحين شمال حمص رستان تلبيسة تردو.
The insurgents remain to be present in the northern countryside of the province, in Talbise, Rastan, and Tandou. And I want you to know that even in areas where insurgents are controlled, the government continues to exist through its services there. It continues to provide water, electricity, and vaccination for children. When Demistura, the United Nations envoy, came here, he was surprised to find out that there are 68 schools in rebel-controlled areas that continue to operate with government funding, and they continue to teach the government curricula.
وبالتعاون مع المنظمات الدولية الصحة العالمية واليونيسيف نوصل لكل هالمناطق.
And with the help of the international organizations like UNICEF and WHO, we are trying to reach all these areas.
Thank you.
Well, he's not only a good man, he's a very smart man.
مو بس